welcome. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Poonam Burde. We're coming to you live from the CNN News 18 Federal Bank Primetime Studio. On the occasion of the 25th Kargil Divas today, Prime Minister Modi paid his tribute to the fallen soldiers in Dras, but he chose that moment to defend a scheme that has been at the receiving end of criticism from the opposition ranks. Prime Minister Modi not only put his weight behind the Agnipath scheme, but also made a pointed attack at the opposition for politicizing it and playing with national security. The issue echoed in Parliament as well not too long ago when Rahul Gandhi, in his maiden speech as the leader of opposition, claimed that the government was treating Agniveers as use and throw labour. Rahul Gandhi said that the Agniveer scheme was brought on board without any consultation and was a directive from the Prime Minister's office, not from the army. That charge was rebutted by the Prime Minister today when he said that the Agnipath scheme is an example of reforms that have been done by the army. But that hasn't stopped the opposition from calling for a rollback of the scheme. The Agnipath scheme, remember, was launched in 2022 and since its inception has invoked sharp reactions. The scheme that's designed to recruit personnel for short-term service in the armed forces, but critics believe that it shortchanges the recruits. While asking questions and demanding accountability is a sign of a healthy democracy, should issues like our armed forces and India's national security be kept out of the purview of politics? Are there some lines that must not be crossed? And who really is guilty of using the armed forces as a political tool? Before we get into that, let me first take you through what the Prime Minister said today and how he responded to the opposition's volley. He was in Dras, like I pointed out. Remember, the opposition so far has been saying that the Agnipath scheme is completely flawed and it's unconstitutional. The Prime Minister today, in his speech, said that this politics of lies by the opposition is only for their personal benefit. It's not for the benefit of the forces or the country. Rahul Gandhi, remember, had said that Agniveer is a use and throw labour, like I pointed out. It was in his first speech as a leader of opposition. The Prime Minister today said that this is nothing but misinformation that's being spread specifically about pensions and Agniveers not getting them. He also said that those recruits now will not be getting pensions for 30 years or later. What have I got to do with that? Was a counter the Prime Minister made today. Akhilesh Yadav of the Samajwadi Party, another party that has now demanded a rollback of the scheme, he had gone on to say that the youth will never accept such a scheme like the Agniveers or the Agnipath. The Prime Minister today said that the only goal of this scheme was to ensure that we are a young and fit army. The global the average global age of armed forces is far lower than what our average age is, which is why we want to make it a more youthful armed forces and which is why the scheme has been brought in, is the argument that the government has been making, something that the Prime Minister reiterated today as well. Opposition has said that the centre is creating a divide amongst Jawans while you create these sections. The Prime Minister today said that the opposition is politicizing national security issues and they must not do that. The same people questioning the Agnipath scheme were those who were involved in defence scams, is what the Prime Minister said. Now, one of the objections that has been raised by the opposition as far as this scheme goes is pensions. The Prime Minister today said there is nothing but a mischief to fool the people of the country. But pensions to our armed forces form a large chunk of the defence budget. Here are some figures for you to consider. The central government allocated about 6 lakh crore rupees for defence budget in this financial year, the budget that was just announced last week. This allocation represents 12.9% of the total budget of the government. From this, 1.4 lakh crore is spent on pensions alone, which is about 22% of the entire allocation. Now, here's what the government says to rebut this no pension allegation of the opposition. Their allocation to pensions is 2.17% higher now than it was in the fiscal year of 2023 and 24. There's monthly pension that's been given to approximately 32 lakh pensioners per year. So does the opposition's argument then hold water? The opposition, though, says this scheme is unconstitutional, but it has passed legal scrutiny. In February last year, the Delhi High Court held that the Agnipath scheme was made in national interest and it is to ensure that armed forces are better equipped. They upheld this scheme as valid. That decision was then upheld by the Supreme Court a few months later, dismissing petitions that challenged the Delhi High Court's order on recruitment to the armed forces. The bench, which was headed by Chief Justice of India, said that overall there is nothing for us to interfere. Kerala High Court too has upheld the scheme in December last year. The court observed that as long as the decision of the government does not infringe on fundamental rights of any citizen, the courts have no reason to interfere. So when there has been discussion that's happened inside the parliament, outside the parliament, in the courts of this country, is politics really required on a subject like this? Is politics on national security justified irrespective of who's doing it?
के इस रिफॉर्म पर भी अपने व्यक्तिगत स्वार्थ में झूठ की राजनीति कर रहे हैं। ये वही लोग हैं जिन्होंने सेनाओं में हजारों करोड़ के घोटाले करके हमारी सेनाओं को कमजोर किया।
The Agniveer martyrs do not get the same respect as those who are in the regular army who joined through the earlier procedure.
प्रधानमंत्री का ये बयान भारतीय सेना का अपमान है।
The Agnipath scheme in no way strengthens the capacity and the capabilities of the armed forces, because as modern warfare will become more technologically oriented, you can't have these short-term outsourced model of recruiting people.
जो जवान फौज होती है उसको बरकरार रखना बहुत ज़रूरी होता है, और मेरे ख्याल से जो अग्निपथ और अग्निवीर योजना जो है ये बहुत उसके लिए कामयाब होगी।
Joining me on this broadcast, Colonel Rohit Chaudhary, spokesperson of the Congress Party, Tariq Khan, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, spokesperson of the BJP, Radhika Khera, will be joining us shortly. But I want to begin this broadcast by asking Major General Sanjay Soy, who's a defence expert, who's been in the forces and would give us an opinion that perhaps will help you gauge what really is the entire controversy of Agniveer's here. Major General Soy, we've heard a lot about whether this scheme shortchanges recruits, whether this is not in the benefit of the army itself because you're not training them enough and you're putting them in the field and 4 years is not enough time. Do you agree with all of these allegations or criticisms that have been coming through the fore?
In fact, Poonamji, I would like to say that Agniveer scheme, in the beginning I'll say that it is a good scheme because in the modern warfare, if you see, the way we fight is totally different. We have seen in Russia-Ukraine war how the war has taken place, the Israel-Gaza war. So manpower remains important, but the technology also plays a very, very important role. And for the technology, we need the new blood, we need the youth, we need the freshly inducted people. And that is one part. Second part is that I am myself a short service officer. During our time, I was commissioned in 1982. After 5 years, we had the option of going in, opting for permanent or opting to go out. After that, the army had to take a call whether to give extension, permanent, or we are sent out. So there was no dilution in my functioning. I retired as a major general. And whatever my commitment, same thing was there with all the short service officers. If we compare the Agniveer scheme with the short service, like people are saying that they would not be motivated, they'll not be working. What I have been to my units, 12 Kumaon and 2 Naga, I've seen that they are equally professionally competent. And one more thing, as far as the training is concerned, after 6 months of training, a recruit, when he comes to unit, after that it is on the job training. He is continuously training. Army, what we do in army during peacetime is all training only. They are trained on weapon, they are trained on tactics, they are trained on patrolling, they are trained on ambush, they are trained on the machine, specialist weapon system, on the communication system. So gradually they keep learning and keep becoming a better soldier. So and 25% is being retained in this. I think Army Headquarters also asked for some review of the scheme, and government is also open to the review. But the saying that scheme itself is useless, I would not agree. Yes, there could be a need of modifications in the scheme, and that will come through as we gain the experience and we see the issues which are coming up. Poonamji.
And neither the army nor the government seem to be close to the idea that some changes may have to be made along the way. Colonel Rohit Chaudhary, even then we see that Congress, leading from the front as far as the opposition bloc goes, says that this scheme cannot exist. It has to be done away with. Why is that so?
See, it is very, very clear that we need technology, we need man behind the machine. Both the things are very, very important, as the general has brought it out. But I am from the missile background. I am the super specialist of Prithvi missiles. I know that it took me almost 10 to 12 years to become super specialist. So in 4 years, the policy is very clear about Agniveer that they cannot undergo any cadres, courses, trainings, anything till the time they are made permanent. So there is too much of disparity. Next thing is that when for 4 years you are not training, you are not doing anything. You have just come out after the 6 months of basic training. You are not all weather battle hardened soldier. So 4 years you can only do sentry duties. You cannot be deployed anywhere, and there are employability restrictions put by the army headquarters on the deployment of or employment of Agniveers. They say that Agniveer cannot be deployed on independent assignments, cannot be deployed on sensitive locations, and they cannot be, on difficult terrains. So these are the employability restriction. With this, for 4 years, it means we are not utilize the soldier for neither for training, nor for making him a good soldier, and nor for he's not good enough to survive in all kind of terrains. Next thing is General has said that he is from Short Service Commission, but I would like to point out one aspect that the Agniveer and Short Service cannot be compared because the Short Service Commission officer gets everything, whatever is given to the regular officer at par. And then after 5 years of tenure, they are given extension based on their requirement of the service as well as the individual. Now, they can also be made permanent. Whereas the percentage of permanency is more than 75% if a short service officer desires to continue and if his army considers or defense forces considers them to be fit enough to continue. Second aspect is, whereas the Agniveers are not at par with the regular soldiers. The regular sepoy is getting 45,000 as a monthly salary plus many other emoluments, perks, whereas the Agniveer gets 21,000 and the daily wage of Delhi is 22,000 for 8 hours. Are our soldiers less than a daily wage earner or a labor? You are expecting a soldier, an Agniveer, to fight a battle in the most difficult terrains of the country, in the high altitude areas. How do we expect these soldiers to perform? So there is too much of disparity, and the
But sir, you're saying that the amount of perks that come in are not equivalent to the amount of work or duties that they would have. But you're also saying that they won't have the same kind of duties that everyone else in the forces does. That there are restrictions on those kind of duties that they would be serving. Maybe that's maybe the thought
so
of
what kind of soldiers we are expecting them to become. What kind of soldiers?
But we're not replacing our entire force. This is in addition to what we already have.
I'll give you a little more additional insight to it. After 5 years, now before Agniveer was launched, from 2019 to 22, every year wastage, every year retirement is about 75,000. And for 4 years, there was no recruitment. There was hardly any recruitment. And when this Agniveer scheme was launched in
2022.
June 2022.
Yes.
So we had already lost almost about 3 lakh soldiers. The shortage. Now that shortage is coming. Now we can see that there is a deployment in the all along the LOC in the J&K sector, when we see that 25% reduction has been imposed on the Rashtriya Rifle units and infantry battalions, those who are deployed. Their area frontage has increased. The gaps have come into play. So
sure, and those gaps need to be filled. Perhaps this is that stopgap arrangement, and like many experts even on this panel have pointed out, that this is open for review. Perhaps that is the way forward, but this may not necessarily be the step in the wrong direction. But Radhika Khera, the objection that the opposition has is that you're shortchanging these recruits. That you expect them to undergo the same training every other armed forces recruit does. You expect them to make that same ultimate sacrifice if the need be, but you're not compensating them enough like you would everyone else.
See, the Congress party has always weakened the country. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has exposed the lies of the Congress party, of the Indian opposition, of the India alliance, which is led by Rahul Gandhi. on an occasion like the Kargil Divas today in Kargil. It is shameful that the Congress party led by Rahul Gandhi is again compromising national interests for just their petty politics. We've seen them doing that again and again. They've played politics on our students in NEET. They've played politics on our farmers. Now they're playing politics on our army. What else but can you expect from Rahul Gandhi? He is the leader of the party who has also asked for proof of surgical strikes. So it's nothing new coming from them. But I would like to ask them, have they forgotten that in 1977, when Army Chief General T.N. Raina ji had set up a committee to improve the effectiveness of the army, and he had said that the root of the problem is not just the number, but also the age. And then in 1989, there was a consensus in defense that the age factor is becoming dangerous for the Indian Army. Now, the Kargil Review Committee report also stated that the army should always be young in age. Therefore, instead of a current practice of a 17-year of color service, it would be appropriate to reduce the color of service for a period of 7 to 10 years, after which the officers would be relieved from here for services, old cadres would be sent to regular police or included in the National Corps. But the truth is that the Congress party can do everything for votes and even compromise with the interests of our armed forces. No wonder that during the UPA 2, do you remember that when the Congress was ruling UPA 2, our armies could not even purchase bulletproof jackets. This is how they've been playing with the army and playing politics with them. And Lieutenant
for what, Joy? There are no bytes also in it.
Lieutenant General Anil Puri, if we go by what he had said that the concept of the Agnipath scheme began when? In 1989. And before implementing, several countries' military enlistments and exit plans were studied. It's not something which has just happened in one go. So everything was done, and the heads of 3 armed forces and CDS General Bipin Rawat ji also worked on the scheme. So everything was done properly. Maybe there are some issues that need to be tackled, and they have been tackled. Like there were times when maybe there's some things that had to be changed, and the change would be appropriate, changes would be brought. But continuously, just because they are in opposition and they just want to oppose just for the sake of opposing, they should stop that. They should stop playing with the national interest of our country. The opposition and Rahul Gandhi have to decide what line do they want to take. Do they want to be for the country, or do they want to stand against the country? Are they forgetting that it is their own party and own party leader which gave the nara of Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, which today they are playing politics on? For them, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan does not matter anymore. They are playing politics on farmers. Rahul Gandhi went and said in Parliament that MSP is not given. And when our Honorable Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan ji stood up and said, give me proof that we are not giving MSP, he retracted his statement and he said, I apologize. He said, no, I was saying something else. Similarly, they are saying this. Now, tomorrow, they will come up with something and Jairam Ramesh will tweet, oh, this was not our stand. This is someone's personal stand, and they will retract from this also. So this shoot and run scoot policy.
No, but as far as the Agniveer scheme is concerned, the Congress has been consistent on their opposition to it. I want to get in the Samajwadi Party spokesperson as well. Tariq Khan, the Samajwadi Party has also asked for a rollback of the scheme. If and when the India bloc comes to power, the Agnipath scheme would be scrapped, is what Akhilesh Yadav has also said.
Immediately. Will not take any time to scrap this scheme, and just we are not opposing it. Nitish Kumar has also said that this scheme must need revision. So you are just ignoring us. It's all right, but you are also ignoring your partner. That's why we are saying that this government will not last more. What I'm reading out, it's the words of the Prime Minister. Listen to me. Can your first vote be dedicated to the courageous Jawan who did the Balakot air strike? These are the words of the Prime Minister. 9th April 2019, Maharashtra. Can your first vote be in the name of courageous martyrs who lost their life in Pulwama? Oh, what is this? Who is asking for vote on the name of Jawans of the nation? What is the correlation with Jawan being sacrificed their life on the border or somewhere else, and you are asking to the people of the nation to vote on the basis of that? Is this fair? You will say it's all right, PM should do all these things, and then you are asking that we are doing politics. It's you, Mr. Prime Minister, who started these type of petty politics. One thing. Another thing is that PM said that we want our Navy to be young or our military soldiers to be young. This is the only way. This is the only way. Now, I am quite surprised. Man, what we have been talking about? This is the only way. By Agniveer, we will reduce the average life of the soldier. We don't have any other route. What is this? We have thousands of routes to modernize and to make our soldiers young. Recruit them. What is the need to just disqualify 75%? This is needed. Recruit the young people. Give them full job. Give them full-time job. This is the way Dihali job. Huh? The soldier, when they'll walk out from the defense, they'll say that we have been thrown out. What is the level of motivation? 75% people who will be rejected, they say that we don't have guts to retain. The military don't want to retain us. This should not be done. Recruit them, whatever you need. Just Congress spokesperson.
But those enrolling, Tariq Khan, I just want to interrupt you there, but because those enrolling would know that they, after 4 years, they would have something else to do. It's not that it's a bolt out of the blue that's coming to them, that suddenly they're out of a job. That's not the case.
There is the certainty that everybody would have this locus on themselves, that they might selected or not selected. They have this confusion that whether they will be put inside the military or they will be thrown out. So, who are selected and the people who are deselected, they must have some type of motivation as well as demotivation. The people who are deselected, I'm just saying that. What is the need of this type of scheme? Why you are demotivating those people?
Sure. Radhika Khera, I want to get you in, but I also want you to respond to what the opposition has been saying, that the politicization of our armed forces is something that the BJP is also routinely accused of doing.
Here the Samajwadi spokesperson was talking about what is going to happen to the Agniveers. They will be left out. Please let me first tell you that the Ministry of Defence launched this scheme after consulting with 158 organizations. It is not just done overnight. Second thing, there are states that have come up with schemes. Agniveers will be provided a 10% reservation in CISF, BSF, CRPF and SSB, along with an age relaxation as well as other benefits. Also, those who want to start their own business will also be provided a loan. Like our Haryana government has already announced that they will be given a loan of 5 lakh rupees with no interest. Mind you, with no interest. Additionally, there will be a 5% reservation in Group C posts. And our Chief Minister from Haryana, Naib Singh Saini ji, also announced on 17 July 2024 that Agniveers will receive a 10% reservation in police recruitment, as well as minor forest guard recruitment, along with a 3-year age relaxation in Group C and Group D recruitment. So the opposition should stop spreading this lie that nothing will be done and they will be left and they will not be able to get. And this scheme will be, there will be other states also which will come up with these schemes, and the center will also ensure. See, we have to see what is beneficial for the country. And by just spreading these lies, you're getting the youngsters to come out and protest and, teaching them wrong things that your future is gone, they will not get anything after 4 years. Please stop that. Please, if you want to actually think about the future of our youth, tell them the truth. This is what the government is promising, and then tell us that this is wrong. Is it wrong that we're giving them reservation in jobs after that? Is it wrong that we're giving age relaxation? Is it wrong that we are giving them support, money, loan without interest to start their own business after that? Why are you not talking about that? Why are you sitting on national television? Why are you going on rallies and lying to the youth? This is why that you are in opposition for the last 10 years. And the fact that you're saying, hum agar aayenge, then we will remove this boss. 10 years, you people have not been given space by the country because they have seen through your false promises. They are seeing through you that you people are not living up to what you said. It's interesting that politics.
It's interesting that this being selective allegation is being made on both sides, Tariq Khan, that you accuse the government of being selective. You get accused of the same thing, that you're not disregarding all of the arrangements that have been put in place either by the central government, by the armed forces or by respective state governments. All of that is completely being overlooked.
See the seriousness that they are saying.
Get you in 30 seconds.
They are saying that they will depend on the state government. Means now the state government will come and say that's okay. You don't have anything for Agniveers. Okay, we'll do something. This is the way they are behaving. This is the way we should behave with our soldiers. Why not a permanent job? Permanent test, permanent job. We are just asking for that, or not we just asking. Nitin is also saying. People who are with you, they are saying. But you are arrogant. You are arrogant. Boys come out and protested. We are just saying that we are voice of the people and voice of the boys.
And several of these people also went to court, Tariq Khan, and on every single occasion, those petitions were dismissed. Even legally speaking, there has been scrutiny of this entire scheme.
it's all right. Even it being dismissed from the court, it is the demand of the people, demand of the nation, demand of the voice who has been rejected. So
Sure.
it's the responsibility of the opposition to raise those voices. We are
Sure.
just doing that.
Sure.
It is the responsibility
Sure.
of the opposition to lie to the country. That is what your people are doing.
Sure, it's-
Just trying to fool the people. That is not the responsibility of
But
the
it's-
opposition.
what-
The
Like I
responsibility
said,
of the
it's the
opposition
same
is to
allegation
behave
that's being made
responsibly.
on both sides.
So what
Let me get-
responsibility has the word
Radhika
responsibility?
Khera and Tariq Khan. Radhika
On
Khera
what PM said.
Radhika
What
Khera
PM
and Tariq
said.
Khan, let me
I
also
just
get in
quoted it.
Colonel Chaudhary. Colonel Chaudhary, it's interesting. We're talking about states, and when Radhika Khera was speaking, she also spoke of Haryana. Haryana is a state that goes to elections. This issue is something that many believe will resonate. Is that something that's there on the opposition's mind, specifically the Congress's mind as well? Is that why we've
Look,
seen
I would-
such an added offensive on the Agniveer issue from every single leader of the Congress party, including Rahul Gandhi?
Look, I would like to clarify Radhika's statement. Probably she's unaware of all the defense setup and what Agniveers are, what their capabilities are, what the government has promised. Probably she is totally unaware, and she has come on the TV to speak about as a spokesperson. Let me tell you very clearly. Firstly, I would like to say that the Modi ji has used a defense forces platform, a podium to talk about various political things. It is called politicking. Asking for first-time voters is politicking on martyrs of Pulwama and Balakot. So this is what is politicking. We are not doing politicking. Whereas it is very simple that the Agniveers, 25% Agniveers will be retained and 75 will come out. There is no notification to suggest that these 10%, 75% Agniveers will be taken care of. As per the Director General Resettlement Report, there are 8 lakh jobs reserved for ex-servicemen. Out of that, 7.8 lakh jobs are still vacant, lying vacant. And they, mind it, they are for ex-servicemen. They are not for the Agniveers. There is no notification to suggest that they will be taken care of in the
Sure.
central government. As far as the state governments are concerned, they are speaking. They are just making ghoshna. Even the BSF, CRPF, paramilitary forces, they have just made announcement. Where is the notification? There should be a seamless transition. The 75% people should straight away be absorbed after 4 years. They should be taken in. They have told that they will be given priority. What is priority? All these paramilitary forces and CAPF and state governments have got reservations. Even Haryana has got reservation for ex-servicemen. There are about 50,000 posts which
Sure.
are vacant, which are reserved for ex-servicemen. And these ex-servicemen have not been taken care of, and Agniveers have not been notified. This is just politicking, making everybody.
Sure, but if
the
states have
nation-
to take the lead, then opposition rule states can also be leading by example.
Can I
But you
respond?
still haven't answered my
Bilji,
question,
they
sir.
are-
I was asking about Haryana and the Congress's strategy. Is this another way of trying to whip up sentiment of a certain section in the state of Haryana because it is poll bound?
It is very clear that Congress party is very clear in its stand. The moment we come, whether we come in 6 months, 10 months, or 1 year or 2 years, we will scrap this scheme because it is not in the favor of nation,
Poonam,
security forces, and the youth. As far as Haryana is concerned, our stand is once again very clear. We have got every 10th soldier in the country is from Haryana, and if Haryana is not able to look after their Agniveers, ex-servicemen, then how will they look after Agniveers?
Sure.
So these
More
Agniveers,
reason
when
for
they
the state
come out,
government
will
perhaps
not be
to
able
lead
get
by
jobs.
example, and that's exactly the point I was trying to make. Unfortunately, I'm completely out of time, but I want to give in the last 30 seconds to Major General Sanjay Soy. Major General Soy, the argument is that Agniveers won't be well equipped, they are not well taken care of. This is all just a scheme to fool one particular section of this country's youth. Is this an argument that's being used politically on both sides, perhaps, as per convenience?
If I leave the politics aside, we look for the organizational interest. In fact, there is a need to have it is a voluntary scheme. Firstly, people are coming voluntarily and they're joining. Second, after 4 years, they leave. At present, the thought is, and a lot of DGBSF has also made a statement today that 10% reservations will be there. Similar is the case with the will happen with the CISF, SSB, CRPF and all, because it is a win-win situation for both. From this side, they are getting trained and they are getting a trained manpower, and they will just run a capsule of 1 month or 2 months, and straight away they are put on a job. And similar thing is happening in the corporate sector also. I would also say the way government is outsourcing the private security to high-end security. You've seen the airports, wherever you go, you will find a lot of private security agency personnel. They are not being paid like a guard. They are being paid much higher salary because they are guarding the sensitive areas. Ultimately, the government is also looking for outsourcing number of things to private sector as far as security is concerned, whether the metro, PSUs, airports, and other sensitive
So all of those
areas.
provisions are being made. Who really
Yes,
is
already there.
politicizing this entire issue, or the armed forces as a whole? The answer to that question differs depending on who you speak to. But unfortunately, every single time there is an election around the corner, we do hear of such things that come to the fore. That's something that really is most unfortunate, perhaps even for the families of all those who send their young men and women now into the army, packing off billions of dreams with them. They really don't want politicians, irrespective across party lines, to try and muddle the narrative for them. On that note, I have to leave it at that. I thank you all for joining us here on this broadcast. It is time for a quick break, though, here on this edition of Plain Speak. On the other side, we'll get you details of a chilling murder that has come to the fore from the IT capital of this country. Is a safety reality check in store for Bengaluru?